There's a specific moment that almost every man remembers. Not the first conversation. Not the first date. Not even the first time things felt promising. It's the moment she goes quiet.
No argument. No explanation. No dramatic goodbye.
Just a shift. Replies slow down. Her tone becomes neutral. The warmth that once felt effortless suddenly feels restrained. Controlled. Like something is being held back. And immediately, your mind starts filling in the blanks. Did I say too much? Did I move too fast? Did she meet someone else? Is this her way of slowly fading out? Because silence feels like rejection. We're wired to interpret quiet as absence, distance, loss. When someone stops communicating the way they used to, we assume they're pulling away emotionally. And sometimes that's true. But here's the part most men never consider. There is a kind of silence that doesn't come from indifference. There is a silence that comes from intensity. A silence that shows up not when feelings fade, but when feelings become strong enough to be dangerous. Think about the timing. She doesn't go quiet at the beginning. She doesn't go quiet when things are boring. She doesn't go quiet when there's nothing there. She goes quiet after connection. After laughter that felt natural. After conversations that went deeper than expected. After moments where you felt seen, and where she felt seen too. That's not coincidence. That's a threshold. Because there's a point where attraction stops being light and starts being real. And for many women, that transition is unsettling. Up until then, everything felt safe.
Flirty.
Low risk. Manageable. But once emotions deepen, something shifts internally. The stakes rise. The sense of control weakens. And that's when silence appears. Not as punishment. Not as manipulation. But as regulation. She doesn't go quiet because she's done with you. She goes quiet because she suddenly realizes how much she feels, and she doesn't know what to do with that yet. From the outside, it looks like withdrawal. From the inside, it feels like overload. And here's why that matters. Because the way you interpret her silence determines how you respond. And the way you respond determines whether attraction survives or collapses under pressure. Most men panic at this stage. They feel the connection slipping, so they rush to restore it. More texts, more reassurance, more effort, more emotional exposure. But the silence wasn't created by lack of interest. It was created by too much emotional stimulation at once. And piling more on top of that doesn't bring her closer. It pushes her further into herself. Before you assume silence means rejection, you need to understand what's happening beneath the surface. Because what looks like distance is often a woman trying to steady herself before she falls. And that internal battle is where her feelings are actually strongest. When a woman develops strong feelings, her experience is rarely calm. It's not just excitement. It's not just attraction. It's not just desire. It's vulnerability. And vulnerability activates the nervous system in ways most people don't talk about. From a psychological perspective, emotional closeness triggers the same parts of the brain associated with risk.
Loss.
Uncertainty. Exposure. Especially for someone who has been hurt before, or who values independence, or who didn't expect to feel this deeply. Her mind starts asking questions she wasn't prepared for. What if this matters too much? What if I lose control? What if I get attached and it doesn't work out? What if I want him more than he wants me? These thoughts don't come from drama. They come from self-protection. So the brain does what it's designed to do under emotional threat. It slows things down. It creates distance. It reduces stimulation. Silence becomes a way to regulate emotions without fully disconnecting. This is why her silence doesn't feel cold. It feels contained. She's not cutting you off. She's containing herself. And this internal conflict is powerful. On one side, she feels drawn to you, comfortable, curious, emotionally engaged. On the other side, she feels exposed, uncertain, slightly out of control. So she compromises. She doesn't lean in. She doesn't walk away. She pauses. That pause is silence. And here's the critical misunderstanding. Men often assume silence is a decision. It's not. It's a process. She's not choosing distance, she's buying time. Time to see if the feelings settle. Time to see if the intensity fades. Time to regain emotional balance. What she's really asking herself during silence isn't, do I like him? It's, can I handle how much I like him? And that's a very different question. This is why silence often comes with contradiction. She doesn't text, but she watches your stories. She doesn't initiate, but she remembers details. She doesn't open up, but she stays present. Her attention hasn't disappeared. It's gone underground. And the stronger the feelings, the more likely she is to protect them by hiding them. Silence isn't the absence of emotion. It's emotion under control. And that's why reacting emotionally to her silence is the fastest way to fail this phase. Because it tells her that closeness creates instability, the very thing she's afraid of. She's not testing you consciously, but her nervous system is watching how you respond. If you know what to look for, silence has a signature. The first sign is selective absence. She doesn't vanish completely. She reduces access. Communication becomes less frequent, but not non-existent. She leaves the door cracked open. If she truly didn't care, she would close it. The second sign is timing after intimacy. Her silence follows emotional closeness, not boredom, not conflict, not decline. It appears after moments where the connection deepened. That timing matters more than the silence itself. The third sign is continued observation. She notices changes in you. She reacts subtly. She appears when you pull back slightly. These aren't accidents. They're awareness. Silence doesn't mean she stopped paying attention. It means she's paying attention quietly. The fourth sign is inconsistency that has rhythm. Her quiet phases follow a pattern. They don't escalate endlessly. They come and go. This isn't ghosting, it's oscillation. And oscillation is a hallmark of emotional conflict. Here's the most important thing to understand. A woman who doesn't care is emotionally flat. A woman who cares too much is emotionally cautious. Silence is caution. And caution exists only when something matters. When she goes quiet, your instinct will be to fix it. Resist that instinct. Because silence isn't asking for reassurance. It's asking for stability. The man who survives this phase doesn't chase clarity. He doesn't demand explanations. He doesn't withdraw dramatically. He stays steady. He continues his life, his energy, his rhythm, his sense of self. He shows interest without urgency, presence without pressure. This communicates something powerful without words. Being close to me doesn't cost you peace. And that's what her nervous system needs to feel safe enough to come back. Silence is not the enemy. Instability is. When you remain grounded during her quiet moments, you become the exception. The man who doesn't collapse under uncertainty. And that's when silence turns into movement. Not because you forced it, but because you made space for it.